Hi, my name is Susan and this is my story. Um, I never thought I would be doing something like this ever, but I guess this is life. You should expect the unexpected. So I'm sorry I'll be taking pauses here and there because I'm trying to. It's really hard to talk about, but I just have to let it out for my own benefit and sanity. So I met my husband John last year. Let's see, July last year, and he was the nicest person ever. The chemistry between us was insane. I met him through one of our friends. His name is David. David and I were friends. We're not too close, but we're friends. So we were hanging out, and he was like, "Oh, Susan, are you single?" And then I was like, "Yes, but don't even bother matchmaking me with anybody." So he was like, "I promise you love this person. You guys remind me of each other, or one another." So I was like, "Okay, no problem. Just this one last time." So he was having his birthday party, and then he invited me and he invited John as well. So we met. I know they say love at first sight may or may not exist, but for me it was that chemistry. It wasn't love, but it was so much chemistry. I'd never felt that drawn to anyone before, and I could see that he felt the same way, because instantly that talking stage was like, it was just so easy with him. Everything was just so easy. It went so smoothly, and in my head I was like I kept waiting for that bad thing to happen, that something really negative about him to happen, so that I'd be like, yes, you're not that perfect. But he never did. 2 months passed, 3 months passed, and we were so in love. Like, everyone around us knew. We were always going out together. We were going on dates. I would spend the night at his place. He was perfect. He made me a better person. With him, everything made sense. Every single thing made sense. And then 3 months into dating, he said, "I'd like to meet your parents." And I was like, "What?" And he said, "Yes, I'd like to meet your parents. We've been dating, and I know it's a short period of time, but I think it's time to meet your parents." And I was like, okay, he just wants to meet my parents. It may or may not lead to marriage, but am I ready for marriage? I mean, I'm just 25. So I was like, okay, fine. I told my parents, I was like, "Oh, my boyfriend wants to meet you." And they're like, "Okay, no problem." So he came in one Sunday, and they just saw briefly 30 minutes at most. Parents ask the usual questions. What do you do for a living? This. I hope you're a good Christian. Are you a good Christian? He was like, yes. And we do go to church together. So he was perfect. He was perfect. We were perfect. So, yes. And then after meeting my parents, a month went by, and then he popped the question. And I said yes. How could I not? I was head over heels for him. I was so in love. I am still so in love. So yes, we had the normal introduction, normal Nigerian introduction and whatnot. And my relatives, extended family complained, isn't it too early? You've known each other for only 5 months. And this. But I kept telling myself, it's not how long, it's how well. And I thought I knew him that well. A wedding day came, we both said our vows, everything was just beautiful. I had my wedding dress was to die for. And then reception, I think during the reception was when things began to change. I didn't know why. Cause if you see us together, we're that couple that you throw up. With a PDA was like our normal routine. We're always clingy, and then towards reception, towards the ending, he wasn't himself. But then I couldn't place my finger on what was wrong. So I was like, okay, maybe it's the whole stress of the wedding and whatnot. Let me, give him space. But wedding night came. That's when you consummate your wedding, or your marriage rather. But he was just, I could see that he wasn't there. And I was like, babe, are you okay? Like, what is wrong? He was like, it's nothing. It's nothing. He's just tired. We should sleep. And in my mind, I'm like, sleep. This is when we get down. This is our wedding night. We don't sleep on this night. This night is not meant for sleeping. But I was like, okay. Instead of me to force him into sex that he wouldn't want to do, let's sleep. So we slept. And then the next day, because we're at the hotel, the next day we moved into our house, we got our gifts and whatnot. Then I still noticed that he was still being distant. But I didn't want to push it because I wanted him to talk to me as his wife, talk to me willingly when he was ready to talk to me. So we were like that. He barely touched me, to be honest. Barely. Then 1 week went, 2 weeks. I was getting worried, but then it was too early for me in the marriage to start complaining about sex and opening up. I didn't want to seem like that nagging person, because I felt me nagging about the whole thing is not going to make him open up to me. So I kept praying about it, and every time I'll be like, babe, you can talk to me, any issue you have, you can talk to me, I'm always here, I'm your better half, joking around about it a little bit so that, you know, he'll be free to tell me what was wrong with him. Then I picked his phone. I tried to, what was I even? I think I was looking for more videos of the wedding, but then I saw that I couldn't access his phone. I'm like, how? We have each other's passwords. We have, in fact, our email passwords. We have everything, ATM cards, everything. We have each other's passwords. So I didn't understand how I was logged out of his phone. And then I asked him, I was like, babe, how comes I can't access your phone? And then he snapped, which is something he never does. We have, you know, normal couple banter, but like never to the yelling stage, never. And then he started shouting. He was like, why am I trying to invade his privacy? Why am I what was the word he used? Why am I poking nosing on his personal affairs? I was like, personal affairs? I'm your wife. 1 + 1 = 1 in marriage. There's nothing like personal affairs between us, where you is me, me is you. So I don't get it. And then he collected his phone and just left the house. This was around like 6 p.m. So he left, and I was pissed. So I didn't even go after him or nothing, because I was like, why are you hiding? When did we start hiding things from each other? So he went out around like 6, 7, he's not back. 8, he's not back. I started getting worried, so I kept calling him, but he kept cutting my call. So I was really worried. I kept calling, he wasn't picking. So I called David, our mutual friend. I was like, David, sorry, are you with John? Is John with you? Like, we got into an argument and he left the house and he's not picking my calls. I'm really worried. And he was like, yes, David is with him, but he does want to talk at the moment, but he'll get back home soon. That was 8. 9, he wasn't home. 10, he wasn't home. I called David. David said, oh, he has left, like he should be in my house, in our house right now. So I'm like, where is he? It's literally 20 minutes drive from my house to David's house. So where has he been? If he left around like 9, why isn't he here? 10, I was really, really worried. I didn't even know who to call. And then 12-ish to 1, he got back home and he was drunk. He was so drunk. He got back home, he was staggering, he reeked of alcohol, and this is something I've never ever experienced with him. So I was like, I know this isn't about me. Like, he would go out and get drunk because of some arguments, not even because of some arguments about phone password. Like, it can't be that deep. So he got in bed. I couldn't lay. He was drinking so much of alcohol. He couldn't bathe because he was so drunk. I didn't even know how he drove back home. Then I took his shoes off, undressed him. I couldn't, to be honest, I couldn't even bother to put his PJs on, so he was just in his boxers, lying there. And then one number kept calling. The person called twice. But I don't know, for some reason, something in my mind was like, don't pick, don't pick. But then I was like, who will be calling my husband around 1 a.m.? So I picked. And I was silent to hear who was at the other end of the phone. And then the person said, hello John, have you gotten home? And it was a female voice. So I was like, sorry, who is this? And then the person cut the call. So immediately I copied the number down on my phone and I used Truecaller, and I saw the person's name was Fatima. I was like, okay, who is Fatima and why is she calling my husband around 1 a.m.? Then I didn't talk about it. The next morning, I asked him when he was very much sober and fed. I asked him, I said, baby, who is Fatima? He was like, why am I asking? I was like, someone called you around 1 a.m. So I want to know, who is Fatima? She called you around 1 a.m. He said, why am I picking his phone calls? Excuse you, we always pick each other's phone calls, so what's the issue? Again, he stood up and walked out. I kept quiet about it. I prayed over it. Marriage counseling, they said pray over everything. Don't bring a third party to your marriage. Pray over it, pray over it. So I'm like, will he be cheating on me this early? Isn't it too early in the marriage for him to be cheating on me? So I didn't know what to do. I couldn't talk to my friends because I was being a dutiful wife, you know, not letting family issues outside the family. Then I noticed she started picking. If his phone rings, he would go outside and pick. If I ask him any question, he gets agitated and irritated with me. So we started not talking as much as we used to, and that was when things really started to go downhill. Because one night, again, he was late, so I called David, and David wasn't picking my calls. I was okay, that's weird. David always picks my calls because we're friends, although he's closer to my husband. I kept calling, David wasn't picking. So now David is the only person that I'm sure John will be with. So David isn't picking my calls. Why isn't he picking my calls? Then I called David's girlfriend and she picked. She was like, hey Susie, how are you? I was like, I'm fine, how are you? Are you with David? And she was like, oh no, he's with John. I'm sorry, how are you holding up? I know at the moment you I know with what you're going through, it couldn't be easy. And I was like, what am I going through? And she said, just try to forgive John about it. He didn't know as well, but it's not as if he had the child while you guys were dating. I was like, what? What child? She was like, oh my God. I'm sorry. I thought he had told you about it. So now my head is like, I was so confused. I was like, child? What child? Who is having a child? So that was around 10. So I drove down to David's house, knocked on the door. He opened. There was my husband and David. And I looked at them. I said, David, why aren't you picking my calls? He said nothing. And then my husband goes, what are you doing here? I was like, you're not picking my calls as well? And I've been looking everywhere for you. He was like, well, he's fine. I've seen him now. Let's go. I was like, no, we're not going. Sit down, let's talk. He was like, what are we talking about? I was like, first of all, we are talking about the child that you have that I don't know about. And he was shocked. He was like, who told me? I was like, so it's true, you do have a child. And he goes, well, I just found out. I was like, okay, you found out that you have a child and you couldn't tell me about it. And he goes, well, there's a lot more and I didn't know how to tell you. I was like, but we tell each other everything. And I get that, this is a sticky situation, but I don't care if you have a child, because it's not as if you cheated on me or something. I don't care if you have a child. We would raise that child together. That child is practically my child now. And I'm sorry. And he goes, he said, well, I'm in love with the mother's child. You're the child's mother. I was like, what do you mean by you're in love with her? And he was like, she's his ex, his first love and whatnot. I was like, well, that's none of my business, because you're married to me now. That's your ex. And he said, that's why he couldn't tell me, because she came for the wedding, and that's why he has been distant. And she came with a child, 3-year-old boy. That's why he couldn't tell me, because when he saw her, all the feelings came rushing back, and the feelings were mutual. So he's in love with his baby mama. I know. It's crazy. But I thought that was it. And he goes, so I want a divorce. I was like, we've barely been married for a hot second. And you want a divorce? How do you go from me being the love of your life to I can't even say to not loving me at all, to wanting to divorce me in the span of 2 months. 2 months. So, yeah. husband of 2 months wants to divorce me. So now I'm like, I love you, but I don't want to, and I don't want to divorce you. And I don't care that you have a child. Or you have feelings for someone else. So what am I supposed to do with that? I've said I do to you. We've planned our future. We have joint accounts. Our families love each other. I don't want to sign those papers. Heaven knows I don't. But at the same time, I don't want to be married to someone who doesn't love me. So what do I do? So I guess that's why I'm here. Yeah. That's my story. What do I do? I don't want to divorce my husband. But I don't want to be married to someone who doesn't love me anymore. So that's the question. What do I do? What do I do? Hey guys, and welcome to my channel, or thank you for reaching this far. So this is a new series that I'll be doing on this channel whereby I tell stories basically. Yeah, and I'll be dropping my email down below or somewhere on the screen if you have your story that you'd want me to tell it to the world, and you have questions that you want to be answered and you want it to be asked in a really dramatic way. Send me an email. You will be completely anonymous, so that will be fun. And guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel and my second channel. And I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time with another video. Bye. Damn, they should give me an Oscar. Oh god, I'm hungry.